Cosmetic Surgery and Laser Center. In today's world and with today's ever-growing technology, we all know a picture can be taken anywhere at any time and shared in an instant. We also know that our patients live active lives and we want you to always look your best. So stay tuned as we bring you our series called True Selfies.
I think like really from the start, like 3 or 4, I think all my toys growing up, I gravitated towards like Barbies and Bratz dolls were like my favorite thing ever. I remember being on the bus and this girl, Elena, was like, so are you a boy or are you a girl? And I looked at her and I was like, I'm 99.9% girl and 0.1% boy. That was like my way of kind of like dealing with it. I was probably in like the 5th grade when that happened. And that's something like I'll never forget just because I was like, you know, I'm not like everyone else. And yeah. It was really confusing. I mean, just because it wasn't really like talked about or there wasn't really anyone in the media that was trans, or I'm sure there was, but I was so young, you know what I mean? So everyone, you know, no one really knew what to do or what to say. I think it wasn't until I was like 14 or 15 that I kind of realized what was happening. I was like, oh, I'm trans, like that's what's going on here. I'm not a gay man, like I'm not a boy, like I'm a girl. And I think just coming to terms with myself, and I was like 14 years old up in my bedroom. I was watching videos on YouTube and I saw some girl like talking about her like coming out story as being trans, and everything she said just clicked with me. And I was like, oh my goodness, everything makes sense now. Like I'm not like a weirdo. This is like normal, you know, but like I said, it wasn't talked about or in the media, so. My dad, I mean, he's super old school because he's like a firefighter, so I think it took him like a minute just to like get used to everything, but now he's so accepting, like he loves me, and he says things like, oh, I should have known when you were little, like you were my daughter, obviously, like, you know, I think being my parents, you don't really know what to do, especially when you've never dealt with that before. Because my parents adopted me, and then growing up I was just always like myself. I always had Barbie dolls or Bratz dolls or just like all girly things. My mom was super, super supportive. This is like really embarrassing, but I had this t-shirt I would wear on my head that she would put in a ponytail, and I would call it my hair, like when I was little, because I didn't have long hair. So yeah, I've been so blessed with so much support and love from my family and my friends. Yeah, I think that's the biggest misconception, is that like I'm just dressing up because I'm bored or because it makes me feel some sort of way, which isn't the truth. Like this is just really who I am. I think I really realized that at first when I was like 15, maybe 14. My mom actually passed away, and that just really was like, okay, I have one shot, one time to like be myself and be just true and honest with myself, and I realized I didn't really have another option, you know. I mean, first I think it really started with like socially transitioning with all my friends and just being like, look, this is what's up, like, sorry if this is like strange to you or whatever, but this is something I have to do. I remember like first like putting in hair extensions or doing my makeup and it being so horrible just because I didn't know what I was doing, you know. And then all my friends were like, oh my goodness, this all makes sense. Like, of course you're Carmen, like this is who you are. So.
When did you actually start dressing as a woman?
Probably 15, 16.
Okay, so it was in high school?
Yeah.
Then ish years ago, you start putting extensions in, wearing makeup, and you're in high school. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Girls were nasty to me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was a cheerleader, and you know, it was like girls are just so mean, right? I never kind of felt like I fit in.
Yeah.
And yet I was, you know, fairly accepted. So how was it for you when you're in high school and you're starting to dress as a woman?
I got so lucky. I mean, I really did. I have such a huge support system. I'm a lot luckier than a lot of people because I know people have it really rough. I mean, I know there are times definitely where people are like, what's going on here? But I got really lucky where people were just like, okay, this is her, this is who she is, and no one really like questioned me. And if they did, I was so quick to be like, you don't get it, you'll never get it, so just let me live. Like I don't bother you about your not blended eyeshadow or something like that, you know, I stick to myself, so. I mean, I still get like some pretty nasty stuff like every day. I think just mostly like men just like over-sexualizing you or treating you as a fetish or things like that. Like, I'm a normal human, so like I don't need to be seen that way or in that light, and I just think it's hard for people to like grasp that concept that like I'm a human, and I don't know why. I think that's just the way it is, but I don't know, I still get things like every day. From being 15 to being 22, I get stuff on social media being like, you know, you'll always be a man, or you look like a boy. I actually just had someone like go in on me on Twitter. They were like, oh, she looks like a man, look at that chin. And I was like, I was really happy with the work my doctor did and that photo I just took. So I don't get it. And then he went to explain himself and he was like, oh, I'm just, you know, it's just what I do on the internet. I'm like, well, why? Like, why does that make you feel like so good about yourself? I think definitely walking into any room, most eyes go to me. I think being tall doesn't really help, but, and like makeup and hair and everything, I think I just have to kind of remind myself that it's not always negative when people are looking at you, but everyone does look at me. It's just like kind of the truth of my life. It's always been that way. Like, people always just stare.
Are you okay with it? I
Um,
mean, what would your message be to the people out there who don't get it?
I think just being kind is like the most important thing ever. Just being kind and being sweet to others. Like, you don't know what people go through or how people are feeling in any moment of the day because you're not them. So I would just hope that people can put themselves in my shoes, or at least try to, because, you know, I'm not saying I have it worse than anyone else, but it can be challenging at times for sure.
Right.
Like 15, 16, I really started like looking into like surgeries, what surgeries like trans women get, and just, I guess, everything like that. And I've just been looking for years for like a good doctor that I trust and someone that makes me feel like really safe, because there's so many doctors out there that'll just kind of like take your money and run, and that's not okay. So I think just I just had surgery in August, so it's October now. I waited for so long just because I wanted to be 100% confident and sure in both my surgeons and everything like that. So,
How many surgeries?
I mean, we did everything in one run, but we did my brow bone, my nose, a lip lift, and we shaved my chin down, and we did breast implants. Good. I feel really good. I feel like myself, honestly. And I think it's things that weren't such like a drastic change, but things that needed to be corrected just to be more soft and just to feel like myself. And just feel like this is how I was supposed to look when I was born, you know what I mean? So just the little tweaks were important for sure. I think my constant thing is just like, it's okay. Like, just be nice to people. Like, you don't have to get it, but like, just respect people. I mean, there's so many things going on in the world right now. I think the least we can all do is just be super kind and just careful about the way we treat people. And, you know, I mean, obviously, if, you know, your child decides that they need to transition because that's what they need in life, that's not going to be easy. It's a difficult thing, but it's so rewarding in the end to see, you know, my dad look at me and be like, I'm so proud of you, I love you, like, I know that this is the right decision, and yeah. Just because, I mean, I grew up watching the Kardashians, so like, I've seen her in every way, but I never really looked at her after she came out and transitioned like, yes, I look up to you, just because like I already have my own people that I look up to and everything like that. But I think it's really just like being gay or the gay community has definitely been more accepted recently. I think it's been like a huge thing, especially with like social media and everything. I think people just being more open about their lives and putting things everywhere. Like I think it's easier for people to get a look at other people's lives. I think with being trans, it's not the same. I think it needs a little more work, but
Why do you think that is?
I think people are afraid of what they don't understand, honestly. I think that people don't realize like how hurtful it is just to like treat someone like they're not a human or treat someone as if they don't have feelings. I don't know why it's that way, but I definitely like hope and pray every day that we can figure something out because it can be rough, but.
Do you think, you're only 22, in your lifetime, do you think you're going to see it where you are fully accepted?
I hope so. I would like to think I would, definitely, because I wouldn't really want to, I don't know. I just think because when I have kids finally, I just want to make sure that they are so loved and that no one would ever question whoever they are or, you know, whatever that is, but I hope I get to see that for sure. And it has changed a lot. I mean, there are so many supportive people. I know there's not a person in this room right now that doesn't like back everything I do and say, so, and I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah. For your dad to be this, you know, guy's guy, firefighter, how much has he meant to you and all that he's done?
I mean, so much. I seriously thank him tremendously just for everything he's done for me. I know it was rocky at first. I think my grandma, his mother, she definitely was just like, let her live. Like, this is who she is. And my grandma's like my best friend, which is so funny, but she was definitely just like, that's Carmen. Like, it all makes sense. Like, everything is lining up. And I think my dad and my grandma have both been like, wow, you are so much happier than you were, you know, 6 years ago, or even when I first started to transition, like, you don't really know who you are or what your look is or anything like that. So you experiment and you are like, does this look good on me? Does this not look good on me? And my grandma was always that person to be like, maybe not, or yes, you look awesome, like, and just being super supportive. So I'm so lucky to have a family that supports me because I know that's not the case for everyone.
Right. That to me is honestly the more shocking thing than even your dad.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, how old is she?
She's like 71.
I mean, that generation definitely, like my grandma doesn't get any of what's going on.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like uses the wrong words and
yeah.
It's like she can't even comprehend it. So how special is it to you that your grandmother saw you for who you were in an age where that was not talked about?
Yeah.
Not, you know, I mean, we didn't talk about sex abuse. You know,
right, super important things.
Right, in the 50s, 60s, 70s,
yeah.
right? So how important was it to you to have someone of her generation's support and love, unconditional?
Like, so important. I love her so much. She's like the best grandma in the world, which I know we all say about our grandmas, but she just really, for her to come forward and be like, I love you no matter what, like, I just want you to be happy. That's just like so important, especially, you know, like you said, someone who is from a generation where that's not really talked about or accepted really. Like, I'm sure, you know, it wasn't easy for her, but she realized, this is my granddaughter, this is what I need to do. And I'll never forget like her ordering my little New Year's Eve dress. It was very bad. But I wanted it so bad, and I was like, my dad will not let me have this. He will not buy this for me. Grandma, come on. And she did it. Sorry, but had to dime me out there. It's just the little things like that, you know, just being like, I support you. And it's little things like taking me shopping for things that I wanted to wear, or saying, when I experimented, oh my God, I colored my hair so much when I was younger. And she was always like, you look so good. Like, anything I did, she was always like right there cheering me on, which is so important.
How old were you when she bought the New Year's Eve dress?
Oh gosh, I was probably like 16. It was sequins and short and all the things I should not have been wearing, but I did.
Loved it.
But I think I actually still have it in a closet somewhere just because I can't get rid of that memory. It feels nice to like leave my house without makeup. I think before I like would not leave my house without contouring, which is like a big thing. But I think now I just feel so like myself. Like I just feel like whole. I think it was something that I had missed out on my whole life, you know, especially with, you know, my face and with even like getting breast implants. There's something there that hasn't been there that was supposed to be there the whole time. And then the second you get it and you are waking up, you might be a little bruised and in a lot of pain, but it's so exciting, and it's just like tears of joy just like streamed down my face because I was so like over the moon about it.
There we go.
This is exactly what I wanted, so I just feel like myself. I don't feel like I have to like overcompensate for anything or put too much makeup on or anything like that. I just feel like me, which is really important. I was as happy as I could be, for sure. I think that I never wanted to like get too down about it just because I know that things can be fixed and things, you know, will happen for you when they're meant to. So it was a little frustrating looking for a doctor and being like, I don't trust this doctor, or this doctor's charging me too much, or, you know, whatever it was. I did get really discouraged like in the moment, but I just had to remind myself like, no, things will happen, everything will fall in place, and I'm just so thankful that I was even given this opportunity because there's so many girls that, you know, aren't able to do this. Because it's so important to educate people, I think. Ever since I started transitioning, I've always told everyone, like, please ask me. If you have a question, do not go on Google. It's dangerous, it's bad. There's so many like false things out there. So I think I was so eager to do this just because I want people to know that it's okay. And if there's any little girls out there or little boys that feel like, oh, I don't feel right in my skin, like I felt that way too, and I'm happy. I think right now I'm just taking it slow, enjoying my new little nose and my, you know, the rest of everything else, and I just feel like myself right now. So I don't know what's next. Whatever is next is gonna be awesome though.
Do you have a partner?
I'd like to have a husband for sure. Maybe a kid. By then, we'll see. I feel like that's a good age to have a child for sure. But I mean, I would definitely like to, you know, have a husband and just be happy and just be like everyone else. I think that's like the main thing is just, I'm so normal, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, what do you do? Or when I'm like, I don't know, what do you do? I do what you do. We all do the same thing. We're human, right?
Hang out with my friends.
Right, yeah, I date, I deal with horrible things, I deal with great things. Like, I'm just like everyone else, you know? So 32, hopefully a husband, keep your fingers crossed for me. I mean, he was just like, you look good, you know, like, you look pretty, you look like you should, really. Like, my grandma, I've been sending her pictures every time I take a new picture I like, and she's like, you are so beautiful, oh my goodness. I'm like, thanks, girl, like, couldn't have done it without you.
Thanks, girl.
Right?
How did you hear about Dr. Mendelsohn?
Real Self, actually. I was just like flipping through so many doctors, and I was gonna travel across the country, and I had even thought about like going out of the country, and then I just kind of realized I'd rather stay safe, like as close to home as possible, just because it is such a big surgery when you get everything done in one go. It's a lot on your body, so it was nice to do it at home. And like I said, as soon as I met Dr. Meyer and Dr. Mendelsohn, I like fell in love. They're so sweet, and their whole team is perfect. But you already know that.
Right. They are. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. There's so many people that have just been like, well, I just don't understand. Like, I'll try to explain it to you. It won't be easy, and it won't take a short period of time, but I can try to help you understand, you know. It's not just something like I chose, like because I thought it sounded like fun. It was something I chose to do because I needed to. I didn't choose it just because it sounded like fun. Like, I chose to do this because this is what I had to do to like live my life and really be myself. So I didn't really have another option.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't get.
Yeah, for sure. People don't understand what they don't, you know, even if you don't try to understand, how are you going to figure it out? Or that people are so scared of things that they don't know anything about. But like, I'm not scary. I'm just like everyone else, so bigger than I've ever been now.
You seem so comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know you before, but you seem really confident with the decision you've made.
Absolutely.
Any regrets?
No, not at all.
No. Only that, you know, maybe you didn't do it sooner.
Yeah, if I could have hopped on their table when I was, you know, 12, I would have done it, but that wasn't okay.
Right. And anything I'm missing that you want to add that maybe I missed on?
I don't think so. I think just to remind everyone to just be kind and loving towards each other, because we're just all human.